1 on Suddenlink Channel 112, live from Studio 318. I'm Reed Spencer, joined by my co-host Logan Mosier, as always. We got a fun show ahead. We're going to make a call to the bullpen in the second segment. A new thing we're debuting with Barrett Guest and Jason Colicchio to talk about baseball, of all things, here on One-on-One. Somebody has to. So they will be here to talk about all the things in spring training and everything, Bryce Harper, Manny Machado, everything like that. But first, we're going to start off with Oklahoma State basketball. The Cowboys and Cowgirls, the rough season continues for both of them.
Yeah.
We'll start with the Cowboys, a 69-57 loss down in Austin on Saturday.
Yeah, it's rough, Reed. You and I both said they'll win another game eventually. We didn't think it was this one. I don't know if it'll be the next one, but they will win another one. Cam McGriff, 40 points, 2 for 9 shooting. Lindy Waters, 40 points, 2 for 5 shooting. Thomas Azagua, 7 for 17 shooting. Isaac, and 38 minutes. Isaac Likely, 39 minutes. Yorin, 24 minutes. You can't be playing these guys this long and expect them to have their legs this deep into the season. And going forward, it's just going to get worse. These guys are not going to be able to shoot the ball very well because they're just going to be tired. It's something we've been saying all year, and I think it's just going to continue.
Well, you mentioned and the 24 minutes, 3 personal fouls.
Yeah.
6 points. Usually he's playing up there in the 30s now.
Right.
I don't know if he plays 10 more minutes or 12 more minutes if they win the game. But if Thomas Dzongwa doesn't have a record-setting day for himself, the 23 points, and all of his points came either at the free throw line and 2 there, and then he shot 7 of 11 from beyond the arc. He was on fire.
Yeah. But
outside of that, they had nothing going. Isaac Likely, 16 points. He seems to really be, he's played well in the last few games. But they obviously, you see there, they've lost their 5th straight, their 8th straight conference game. The last win coming in that Big 12 SEC Challenge over South Carolina. So they're now set a school record with 8 straight conference losses. They're 1-8 in their last 9. I'm with you. It's going to come around some point, but I didn't think they would lose by 12. But instead of that big run coming from Texas in the second half, it came in the first half.
Right.
And they jumped out to that big lead. And really, Oklahoma State got within 4 at one point. It was 42-38, I believe, at one point. And Oklahoma State just couldn't sustain it. And then Texas goes on a few mini runs and ends up with the 12-point victory. But I really didn't think Texas was that impressive.
No.
Their shots were falling, but,
I agree with you. And I think what ultimately killed the Cowboys is something we've been talking about all year. It's their bench. 2 points off the bench. Duncan DeMuth, 1 for 1. Curtis Jones, 0 for 5. The other 2 guys that came off the bench barely played enough time to make an impact. But you can't have Curtis Jones going out there going 0 for 5 and Duncan DeMuth being your only scorer off the bench. You got to be able to relieve some kind of pressure off of Dzongwa, McGriff, and Lindy. Like in a game like this where McGriff and Lindy don't have it going, but Dzongwa's red hot, you got to be able to find something somewhere to add some scoring. Because let's just say Duncan DeMuth has, 6 points. Curtis Jones makes a couple of his baskets. That's 4 points. That's a lot closer of a game. The Cowboys could be in games like that if they could find someone to come off the bench and provide some kind of spark, because they just have nothing.
No, you're right about they need that spark. Lindy Waters was that spark for a while.
Yeah.
5 points. Cam McGriff for much of the season was that spark, especially early on. 5 points, but they both played 40 minutes. Cam McGriff was only 2-9 from the field. He needs to be taking more than 9 shots and preferably probably making more than 2. And they would tell you that. Lindy, 2 of 5 from the field. It was just one of those performances where we can both agree that at some point they're just going to have to do enough to win. But Saturday was not that day. And unfortunately for the Cowboys, that was less than 48 hours ago.
And they're back on the court tonight here in Galgaraiba playing TCU. And I don't think this is where they snap this streak. I think it's going to be 9 straight Big 12 losses. TCU is, they're not bad. They're not one of the best teams in the Big 12, but they're certainly better than Oklahoma State if you look on paper. So even though Oklahoma State is in GIA, the crowd could be there. I can't pick them to win this basketball game.
Well, they went down to Fort Worth on February 6th and lost at the buzzer. They were down by 11 at halftime, fought their way back. That was 4 games ago.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, things are different as well. I say they're different. They're really the same, but it's just gotten worse. The more minutes that they've played, their legs are kind of, almost beneath them.
Yeah.
But in that stretch, Logan, after the TCU, they played KU, Texas Tech back-to-back, got blown out in both games, lose by 12 on Saturday. Now they played TCU, a team they did almost beat, went down to the buzzer, and then this stretch after that. At K-State, at Texas Tech, home for Kansas, at Baylor, home for West Virginia.
Ugh.
So 6 games left, 3 of them against top 25 teams.
Right.
3 of those teams have beaten you already.
Yeah.
3 of those teams have blown you out already. So where's that motivation here? I mean, I'm sure Mike Boynton can find it because if anyone can find the motivation, it's Mike Boynton. But we always think in terms of – everyone always thinks they could do better than somebody else. And now I'm not insinuating I could do anything close to what Mike Boynton does. But that's the way sports fans think.
Yeah.
Oh, why don't they do this? Why don't they do that? So you think, at least in my mind, I'm thinking, well, what would I tell them? I don't know what I would tell anybody. Do you know what your message would be?
The classic one to go to is the nobody believes in us thing, right? Because, I mean, nobody around here believes in them. No one anywhere really thinks this OSU team can win another game except maybe that West Virginia game. So that would be the message I would go with. I can't really think of a lot of other stuff to try and motivate these guys. But like you said, Mike Boynton is the ultimate motivator. He's a great coach. I would run through a wall for him. I'm sure you would too if you heard him speak. I mean, he does that to people, So I'm sure he'll find a way to motivate these guys. But at the end of the day, I don't know if that'll be enough to get them one of these victories. I hope they can win that West Virginia game. That's the one that's the Big 12 or the last Big 12 game I think they can win.
Oh yeah, I mean that's their last game of the season. So I mean it's really the only hope they have left. I mean you would think. I mean they were close against Kansas for a time. They took TCU to the buzzer. I mean anything is possible in theory. It's not likely, but it's possible. I think you're right. You set your sights on that West Virginia game. Obviously, you can't just ignore these next 5 games.
Right.
But that West Virginia one, team you beat on the road, and really is about talent-wise as good as you are, or is having the same type of season you are. At Baylor, you lost to them by 4. I mean, there's potential out there for the Cowboys, but they fall to 9-16 on the season. If they don't get another win, they're not going to reach double-digit wins. That's a tough pill to swallow for Oklahoma State basketball. Quick stat before we get into the Cowgirls. Oklahoma State basketball, including men's and women's, is 2-15 in their last combined 17 games.
Wow.
That includes 1 conference win between the both of them, that being the Bedlam win from the Cowgirls over a week ago.
Oh.
So not good times in Gallagher-Iba at all. But the Cowgirls go to Ames, a team that Iowa State, number 18 in the country, blew the Cowgirls out here in Stillwater.
Right.
Did it again in Ames, 87-67 win for Iowa State, a 22-point loss for Oklahoma State. They didn't lead after the first quarter. Logan, their bench is not quite as depleted as the Cowboys, but they got 2 points out of Duncan DeMuth on the bench on Saturday.
Yeah.
Cowgirls got 4 points off of their bench.
Yeah, and they played a lot more than four players off the bench. They got 31 out of Vivian Gray. Braxton Miller continues to struggle, only 7 points in this game, 3 for 12 shooting, 0 for 4 from behind the arc. I don't know what's going on with the Cowgirls. They're certainly having their own struggles. It's not a lack of depth, but I think it's just that they're so young. I think this team, they have the potential to be really good in 2 years. I feel like they're just a lot of young girls. They're really sound, I think, throughout the board, like throughout the entire roster. They have a lot of depth, but they're just inexperienced. I think you have 2 or 3 upperclassmen on this team, and that's just not a lot of leadership. So they're going to have to figure out how to win games, and I feel like they will. I feel like this year may not be their year, but in the future, they started out really well too. I think we're kind of forgetting that they started out great at the beginning of the year, and they've kind of fallen off as the year's gone on. But I think they have a chance to be special in the future.
Yeah, Jaden Hobbs only plays 16 minutes.
Yeah.
You look at what the recipe kind of was for a win, especially what it was over OU, 50 points between Vivian Gray and Jaden Hobbs. Jaden Hobbs doesn't have any points on Saturday. Vivian Gray drops 31, but Braxton Miller, you're looking only 7 there.
Yeah.
And Asbury drops 14, but it's kind of like the offense is stagnant at times, and that seems to be the case. But they fall, Cowgirls do, to 13-11 after a blowout loss to number 18 Iowa State. They are now 9th. Let's see, they're 7th, 8th in the Big 12.
Okay.
So they're ahead of Texas Tech, a team that beat them last weekend, and ahead of Kansas and the Sooners, but not by much, only 2 games ahead of the Sooners. So you look at the rest of the schedule for them, they have West Virginia, KU, OU, and they had to play the number 1 team in the country in Baylor again, and K-State. So kind of like Cowboys, teams that have beaten them in the past,
right.
They did beat OU before and Kansas. So there's teams that they can get wins against, but there's also teams that they have beat, including that monster in Baylor down in Waco on March 2nd. So it is going to be a tough stretch for the Cowgirls. Maybe they can squeak into the NIT, but I'm not really sure where they go at this point. But I know people want to freak out, on Boynton and Coach Littell, and sometimes you just get dealt a bad hand, and that's what Cowboy and Cowgirl basketball has had to deal with this season. But I don't think there's any better people to lead the program right now than those two.
Yeah. Like I said, I think the future of both teams is in good hands. This is a rough year. This is a rebuilding year for both programs. Going forward, hopefully we see some improvement. And I think we will. I think next year will be a much better year. People will forget about how bad this year was.
Well, you certainly hope so. This year everyone was football season seemed
oh my gosh
disastrous, and we couldn't get through it enough. And I can't wait for basketball season. That talk ended real quick.
Yep.
Really quickly. So now people are excited about baseball season, softball, wrestling has a huge duel, which we'll get into later coming up this next weekend. But staying in college basketball, Saturday night, number 5 Kentucky and the number 1 team in the land, Tennessee, went head-to-head. Big rivals. Obviously their states border each other. They do not like each other.
Right.
Big SEC rivals. And Kentucky, literally and figuratively, beat Tennessee down.
Oh, yeah.
Beat them down in an 86-69 win. People were talking about Tennessee had been the only consistency in the country. I don't know why those people hadn't watched Duke, but really, people thought this Tennessee team, they were experienced. They were the guys that were going to do something special, and this is just one loss.
Right.
This is not college football where this derails your season. But that's like a Elite 8 game that they're going to have to play.
Right.
And they got smoked in prime time.
To be fair, though, it's a rivalry game pretty much. It's in Kentucky's gym. It was a really good game by Kentucky, and Kentucky has gone just on an uphill. They've been getting so much better throughout the season. They obviously started out with a bad loss, but they've just gotten so much better. And Tennessee's really good too. Like you said, it doesn't derail their whole season that they got this loss, but I think this would be a great tournament game, like you said, like in the Elite 8 or something like that.
Well, there's a lot of great college basketball games on the night. We're getting closer and closer to March, so best time of the year is March Madness. So we're going to take a quick break, make a call to the bullpen. Barrett Guest and Jason Colicchio will be up right after this.
One-on-One is brought to you by Tinker Federal Credit Union. Visit facebook.com/TinkerFCU. While you're there for your family, we're there for you. Tinker Federal Credit Union. And OSU Communications. Not sure where to park? OSU Communications has got you covered with parking tips and bus schedule information. We'll be right back.
Determining your future by selecting a major can be difficult.
It's okay to be undecided.
Connect with the College of Arts and Sciences, where your options are endless.
Where you can uncover your passions and achieve your goals.
Express your creativity by exploring a career in the visual and performing arts.
Investigate new discoveries to make the world a better place with a career in science.
Advance knowledge, communicate progress, and contribute to a healthier planet with a career rooted in the social sciences.
Discover your career by looking at the world from different perspectives through the humanities.
Realize a better tomorrow through problem solving and mining data that can change lives.
CAS prepares you to succeed through internships, study abroad, student-guided research projects, and service activities.
With 109 majors, 52 minors, and 24 departments, the only thing missing is you. College of Arts and Sciences.
Connect.
Achieve. Succeed.
When you have a team of physicians and nurses that really truly care about their patients, that translates into patient care.
It's a small practice, it's a small town. Everybody really takes that time to put the patient first.
Everybody cares what's happening to me and that I'm making progress and I'm gaining my freedom back and my mobility back. This patient is saying thank you.
This spring, I invite you to shop in downtown Stillwater. Downtown Stillwater is home to locally owned shops, boutiques, eateries, and dependable professionals that you can trust. Find the perfect gift for your graduate, have a delicious meal with mom, or just stop in to enjoy great spring savings. By creating a demand for local goods and services, you can ensure a place for the local businesses that help give our community character and keep it unique. On behalf of Downtown Stillwater, thank you for shopping local.
Welcome to the bullpen here on One. I am joined by my co-host Barrett Guess. I am Jason Colicchio. We're warming up here, where the pitches are hot and the takes are hotter. Barrett, it's that time of year.
Yeah, spring training starting, and surprisingly, there's a lot of unsigned talent out there in the MLB.
Yeah, according to MLB.com, there's over 100 free agents, still not reporting anywhere for assignment. Big names like James Shield, Dallas Keuchel, Carlos Gonzalez, Gio Gonzalez, Adam Jones, and Craig Kimbrell. Now, you're a Nationals guy. You like Gio Gonzalez, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty reliable. He kind of struggled toward the end of his time with the Nationals. Was with the Milwaukee, but he's a reliable lefty. I think he'd be good for anyone, kind of like for strengthen a rotation, just someone to, add depth. I think I was actually looking around the league, and I think a good place for him would probably be, it would be against the Nationals, but the New York Mets. Oh. I think that'd be a good landing spot. They've had some issues pitching last year because I believe they started like 8 or 9 different pitchers. They had trouble sticking with a solid rotation, so I think he would be valuable.
Sure, he'd like to go anywhere.
Yeah.
But players, especially Justin Verlander, is very outspoken. He went on Twitter, talked about how the system is broken. You see on the screen right there, 100 so free agents left unsigned. The system is broken. They blame rebuilding, but that's BS. And then they talk about Bryce or Manny, 10 years, 20, all that stuff. If I'm to be honest with you, I really don't think that. I think this 100 number is a little inflated, because you look at the list of players that are still available, and you see that I would say about 15 to 20 of these guys are like good.
Yeah,
the other 80.
There's a lot of. I think what people are freaking out about is the fact that so much of the talent, like there's so much high-end talent. There's if you really look at the full list, it's very top-heavy. But you have two guys that can be the cornerstone of a franchise, and Manny and Bryce. So it's kind of ridiculous. I think that not only have they not signed. With Bryce, he's coming close, but apparently with Philly, but with Manny, there's not really a lot out there about how close he is. It doesn't really seem like he's really leaning anywhere, which is kind of surprising. So I don't know. It's an interesting situation. Definitely going to be the main talking point throughout the start of spring training. So, I mean, we'll have to see what happens.
Real quick, because I like talking about the AL East, shout out to the New York Yankees. Craig Kimbrell, he wants a north of $100 million deal for 6 years. That would make him the highest paid closer in MLB history. Right now is Aroldis Chapman with his $87 million deal with the Yankees. Do you see this? Like, do you see him getting a deal like this? I don't see it.
I don't know. 6 years is a long time.
He's already 30 years old.
Yeah, and especially for someone, for a, for a relief pitcher like that, 6 years kind of seemed long because that is a long time. I do think he deserves to be the highest paid. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily. Obviously, he's not the best, closing pitcher we've ever seen. But based on how obviously contracts they're constantly increasing in the amount that people are getting paid, and I think he's one of the best, if not the best, right now.
All right.
At least I would say at least top 5. So I do think he deserves a lot of money. 6 years, probably not. That's that's a lot. I would
36 years old at the end of his contract.
Yeah, I would say more like 3 or 4 would be more realistic.
Yeah.
But I do think he deserves a lot of money.
Kimbrell is 12-7 in his time in Boston with a 2.44 ERA. It's not terrible.
No, it's not.
All right, well, moving to more Bryce Harper and Manny Machado, talks have intensified as of late, with reports coming in for Machado's 8-year, $240 million contract with the Padres. That's what they offered him. And the Phillies are apparently offering Bryce Harper a $30 million plus year contract, like for every year.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm trying to say is, do they take these contracts?
I think if you're Bryce, I think he does. Obviously, he's getting paid a lot, and I think the Phillies would be a good fit for him. He'd be. I mean, the Phillies are already pretty. I mean, they won 80 and 82 last season, which isn't bad, but you add Ham, and they're automatically so much better. And having someone like that you can build around. Plus, they just re-signed Nola, who had an outstanding season last year. So, I mean, they're a pretty good baseball team. I think with him, they're a lot better. So, I understand that. Machado, I just don't see the Padres being a great landing spot for him. I think a better fit would be maybe Chicago White Sox.
They are plus 500.
I think that would be a better fit because they do have. Chicago has really good farm system. They got a lot of young talent. He would be the cornerstone. They would build around him. So I think that's definitely a better fit. I don't think San Diego's really the spot.
San Diego is interesting. Now I want to talk about them. They are both. Well, for Harper, he is plus 250 with the Padres, and Machado is plus 400. What are they doing to attract both of these all-stars? Because they don't have the money for both of them. We see with Machado's 8-year, $240 million, which I don't think he was aiming for $300 million plus, and they just kind of like low. They just soft tossed.
Yeah.
This little contract at him.
I don't. It's hard to tell. I don't know exactly what makes it such like a desirable place. I think maybe part of it would be that. I mean, it's hard to say this because they would be like the guy pretty much anywhere they go, but like they would be without a doubt the number one, like far and beyond the best player in San Diego. But I don't know. It's really hard. It's hard to come up with why both these players are looking at San Diego. If you look at the Padres in the past, they're kind of known for going on big spending sprees. You look at like 3 or 4 years ago, they signed all those free agents like Matt Kemp, and they just got a ton, and it just didn't work out. By midseason, they were shipping off everyone.
Yeah, the Padres haven't been very good in a while.
Not at all.
Trying to add Manny, I guess, would help, but I don't see it helping that much.
I don't think so. I think they gotta. I mean, the good thing about these two is they're both still young. So if they did sign one of them, they would have time to rebuild around them. But then again, there's going to be 2 or 3 years where they're just not very good with those players. So I don't know. We'd have to see. But I don't see either of them going to San Diego.
All right, then quickly, give me a place that you think Harper and Machado are going to land. What is your predictions for their signings?
I think Harper, he's a better fit in San Francisco, but I think he's going Philly because that's what all the talk's about right now. I think Machado, I would have to say, again, I think the White Sox.
All right,
White Sox. Chicago. I don't think they're not going to the same place.
All right, yeah, I don't think they're going to the same place either. Well, for Harper, I'd also have to probably say the Phillies.
Yeah.
We see the Phillies acquiring Real Muto in a trade, JT Real Muto. And Harper's always mentioned him, actually, surprisingly, I don't know why, but he's always wanted the Nationals to get him. So that was probably a big push once the Phillies got him. And for Machado, I'd probably have to go with the Padres.
You think so?
I don't think he's going to get a higher contract offer from the White Sox. I think they're gonna maybe they do.
Do you think he's going straight after the most money possible?
I think he's going after the money.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, now we go to the "Is he worth it?" segment. I'm very excited. We for this segment we both research a player, and it's pretty much a guessing game. We say their RBIs, home runs, ERA, if they're a pitcher, and all that, and we try and make the other guy guess who it is. So Barrett, why don't you hit me with your player?
Okay, so right off the bat, he's a pitcher. He's signed on a 6-year, $126 million contract.
All right, those numbers.
So he'll be making $20 million this year, 22, then 22, then 19, then 18.
That's a lot of money.
Over the next 5. It is a lot of money. So this past year, he was hurt, went 1-3, 4.95 ERA. Pretty awful season. His WAR was -0.2. He had a 1.425 WHIP, and although he's a big strikeout guy, 11 strikeouts per 9 innings. He is a 4-time All-Star. 2017, 10-12, 3.86 ERA. 2016, he was an All-Star. So he just signed, I believe, he signed in 2018. Had a tough season this year, but he's got a lot of money in his future with this team, and all of it's guaranteed. So
I guess one guess around, is that Jeff Samardzija by any chance?
No, it is not. It's not. It's you want me to go ahead? It's Yu Darvish, Chicago Cubs.
Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. That's a really bad contract.
It is not worth the contract.
It is not worth
at all.
it. So he is not worth it. That's the first one.
I don't understand what they thought.
So for me, he is a little bit of an Iron Man. He's played 157 games last season. He played all 162 the season before.
Wow.
18 home runs, 69 ribbies, 142 strikeouts though. And then a 7-year, $123 million contract.
7-year, $123
He's batting he batted .253 last year. Is he worth it?
So
that's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money.
That's $21 million for the next 4 years. And then it slowly goes downwards to 14 and 13.
When did he sign?
He signed last year.
Last year? Oh, man. I don't know. I'm going to... That's tough. The first thing that came to my mind was Chris Davis, but that can't be right.
No, that is Eric Hosmer.
Ah, that makes sense.
San Diego Padres, keeping it with the Padres.
Yeah,
that is another bad
contract. He's not worth that. That was a mistake.
That was a mistake. All right, so it looks like the skipper's walking out to the mound. We're getting a pitcher change. Thanks for joining us here on the bullpen, Jason Colicchio and Barrett Guess. Hope to see you next time here on One on One.
Get your master's degree in accounting, business administration, theology, engineering, computer science, or cybersecurity from Oklahoma Christian University. Apply at oc.edu/grad. Oklahoma University is committed to offering the best graduate school experience we possibly can. Come learn and grow with us. And The Table. Stop by The Table on Thursdays at 8 p.m. to join their Bible study. Shoot Rachel an email at rachel@thetableosu.com for more information. We'll be right back.
my mind, I was never going to walk right again. Before we were through, we had walked 23 steps. And that was my first steps of freedom. This patient is saying thank you.
Welcome back into One-on-One on Southern Lake Channel 112, live from Studio 318. It was All-Star Weekend. By the way, thanks to the bullpen. They did a great job. They know more about baseball than we do.
Absolutely.
That's easy to say.
And I would like to say, I'm never calling an RBI ever again.
Ribby
it's a Ribby forever.
It's a Ribby forever. Jason Colicchio, the takes are they're amazing.
Hot.
So that will be on every Monday from now until the end of time, because baseball season never stops, according to some people around here. But it was All-Star Weekend.
Yes.
We had the skills competition, the dunk contest, obviously the All-Star game, Team LeBron
Three-point
versus Team
contest?
Giannis. Three-point contest, and we had the Celebrity All-Star game, which we won't
talk about that.
Get into that. And then we had the Rising Stars Challenge. So we'll start with the three-point dunk contest and the skills challenge. What did you make of the skill? I guess I should ask, did anything surprise you?
Joe Harris winning the three-point contest kind of surprised me. I thought Steph had that
apparently
pretty easily.
He watched One-on-One on Friday and used me as motivation, because you asked me who I thought would be the worst or have like Paul George last year, and it was ding, 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 Joe Harris. Was not the case. He beat the legend, probably the greatest.
Yeah, the greatest shooter, greatest shooter of all time.
26-24 in the final round. Steph Curry was close.
He was.
He was close, but Joe Harris.
And it's right here. I think he hits every ball in this money rack, and that's what wins in the three-point shootout. And I mean, it's insane. That guy. A lot of people know who he is now. He was very surprising. He had a great performance.
Brooklyn deserves something.
Yeah, it's true.
Brooklyn deserves something. I guess every New York team. Seriously, I mean, they need something. Dennis Smith Jr. didn't win the dunk contest, but it was.
Oh my gosh, that was the worst dunk contest in a long time.
But if you would have told me Joe Harris and Steph Curry are going to the final round of the three-point contest, I think every single person, even Joe Harris's mom, would have put money on Steph Curry.
Right.
But Joe Harris pulls it out. The skills competition, Jason Tatum beat the former Sooner Trae Young in the finals. Skills competition, one of those things where these guys have so much talent, but it was kind of
right.
See, they make it look easy.
They do. I would love it if we could somehow do a one-on-one skills challenge or something like that. That would have been great, because this stuff is not easy. Jason Tatum sinks it from half court to win it. That's a great move in hindsight, shooting it from half court to win it. But if he had missed that, we'd have been like, why did he do that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, if he would have missed that, it would have all been about Trae Young.
Yeah.
I mean, Trae Young was probably going to win that. But Jason Tatum does grab the skills competition victory. And then the slam dunk contest. You said this was the most boring slam dunk contest you have seen in a while.
It was. Thunder rookie Hamidou Diallo had some good dunks. But, like...
Yeah, J. Cole did
jumping over J. Cole. John Collins jumped over a paper airplane and hit the paper airplane that was like 3 feet off the ground. And Diallo jumps over Shaq. Like...
Okay. Timeout. Time to get real about this dunk. Don't tell me he dunked over 7'1" Shaq.
Are you talking about the hand on the shoulder?
Well, and Shaq's leaned over. He's like 6'8" Shaq right there. And he propels himself. He jumped over you, Logan.
That's still impressive.
It's impressive, but I'm with you. Like, It seems like every year, and I get it, people are trying to market
that he actually just leapfrogged him. That's not even like
everyone tried, and he ruined a jersey.
Yeah.
But anyways, everyone tries to market every dunk contest. It's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
It's not.
People get like, we're halfway through these highlights, and people have been dunked over. They're just trying to find the next biggest famous person. You had Quavo, J. Cole, and Shaq.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't.
No,
I mean, I'm lost. I'm done with the dunk contest.
Do you want to hear my plan to save the dunk contest?
Giannis?
You have to get Giannis. You have to get Zion. Zach LaVine has to come back. And Diallo, since he won this year.
Surely.
You have to get big names in it.
Well, surely Zion will do it next year.
Yeah.
I think
Giannis will do it too. I think Giannis is the kind of guy that just likes to have fun at this kind of stuff, and he wants to do it just because. I wouldn't be surprised if he asked if he could compete in the three-point contest, even though he's made like 8 threes all year.
I don't mind big names like LeBron going, no, I don't need that. I don't mind that. But even
I kind of do. Not that it impacts his legacy or anything like that. It's just it would have been fun. You know what I mean?
Well, earlier on.
Yeah.
I mean, now, obviously, with the groin injury and everything he's having to deal with now, he's not going to do it. Earlier on, he should have done it.
Yeah, like in 2004.
I think LeBron probably wishes that he would have.
Probably. He probably looks back on it and wishes he had done it, but
his greatest flaw will not be 3-14 in the finals.
It'll be no slam dunk contest.
It'll be no slam dunk
Michael will
contest.
always have more slam dunk championships than LeBron.
So the All-Star game itself, I guess we'll get into the Rising Stars game first.
Yeah.
Team USA beat the world, as always. Not much has changed. What else do you expect? They beat the world 161-144. Kyle Kuzma is the MVP, but this, kind of like the All-Star game, not a ton of defense.
No, not really. And this is more, I don't know, normally this game is not more fun, but there's more entertaining stuff. Like I don't know. I almost have more fun with the stuff they come out with after. Like, did you see on Twitter they had Luka mic'd up and he he wanted to do the jump ball, and him and De'Aaron Fox did the jump ball. And I don't know, that kind of stuff's more fun, just hearing what the guys are saying, because obviously they're out there to have a good time. They're not out there to, they're not playing for a championship right now, obviously. So that's the stuff I more enjoy with this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I love seeing people mic'd up after the fact.
Yeah.
But
look at that.
Look at that defense, Logan.
He missed it too.
This is the defense. He felt pressured.
Yeah,
and right back at the other end. Oh, Marvin Bagley. Yeah, there you go.
Kyle Kuzma MVP.
Look at that MVP trophy.
That is pathetic.
Wow. Ouch.
That's pathetic.
Try not to win the MVP if that's what they're going to give you. So the USA does claim a victory over the world 161-144. As you saw there, Kyle Kuzma is your MVP. De'Aaron Fox had 16 assists, so he's got that going for him. Jason Tatum dropped 30. In the All-Star game itself, Team LeBron was down big. People were saying he wasn't a good GM. And then
he was a great GM.
They fight their way back. Team LeBron gets a 14 or 12-point victory. I'm doing Logan. Team LeBron beats Team Giannis 178-164. KD wins the MVP.
Yeah.
You mentioned a stat earlier. He's now I do still have that stat.
I do. He's one of I think 5 guys to ever win at least 2 championships, an MVP, 2 All-Star MVPs, and the list is like LeBron, Michael Jordan, Magic, Larry Bird, and now Kevin Durant. And people are like, how does this elevate Kevin Durant's legacy? How does an All-Star Game MVP affect your legacy whatsoever? Why did he have to win that MVP to be elevated into this conversation of, oh my gosh, he's in the group with these guys. What does that mean about him? That doesn't change anything. Kevin Durant's been one of the best players the NBA's ever seen for a long time. Why does dropping 30 points in the All-Star game matter?
So you're upset that people are saying, oh, now we have to start discussing his legacy like it wasn't cemented already.
Right. It's ridiculous. Like, name small forwards that are better than Kevin Durant. LeBron, Larry Bird, and then who?
Well, and really, in theory, everyone knows that Kevin Durant's 20 times the player Larry Bird ever was. That's just a matter of fact. He's a better basketball player.
Right, but he doesn't have the championships or the
At different
MVPs.
time,
Yeah,
I
right. So I mean, I don't know why we needed this game to talk about Kevin Durant in that kind of light all of a sudden.
So if we're speaking of the masses, the mass basketball fans, and even the media included, they push these narratives. They can sway people whether they like it or not.
Yeah.
Are you convinced that across the board, even 51% of the people, the majority, thinks that Kevin Durant is a top 5 player all time?
I don't think he's top 5. He's a top 5
of this generation.
Oh yeah,
Fair enough?
yeah. Of this generation, he's behind LeBron, and that's it. Plain and simple. I have that stat right now. MJ, LeBron, Magic, Shaq, and Kobe, the only players in NBA history with a regular season MVP, 2 Finals MVPs, and 2 All-Star MVPs. So that's the stratosphere that Kevin Durant suddenly leapt into. He's now in the conversation with LeBron, Magic, Shaq, and Kobe because he was not in that conversation before.
Well, sitting here in Oklahoma, it's hard to talk about Kevin Durant without people, snake, he left, he had to go to a 73-9 team. I get it. He's with probably Draymond's a borderline Hall of Famer. Clay and Steph are Hall of Famers. We said earlier, Steph's the greatest shooter of all time. He went on a 73-9 team. Had they not lost in that finals, he probably wouldn't have been able to join that team.
Right.
But I get that team is really good and he's had a lot of help. But in the last 2 finals, the finals he's been in, he's been by far the best player the Golden State Warriors have ever had. And I hate that, it's not even KD's team. So,
right.
At the end of the day, especially, people around here, because we do have the Thunder fans, they don't like Kevin Durant. Their savior is Russell Westbrook. They want to compare. No one cares about the triple-doubles when you're winning championships. Any guy who's ever won a championship, you can say, they didn't do it the right way, this and that. 1 ring is better than 10 triple-doubles in a row. It's better than 10 seasons of averaging a triple-double. I don't understand why people can't get behind the KD narrative. Maybe because he's soft in the media, because he had a burner account arguing with a 14-year-old kid like it was Xbox Live. I mean, I don't get it. I don't particularly like him when he deals with the media, but you can't deny his talent on the field and what he's on the court and what he's accomplished.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Obviously, people around here have a lot of emotion associated with Kevin Durant. The way he left was not ideal, but if you look at him just on the court and what he's able to do, he's one of the most complete players we've ever seen. Besides maybe LeBron, I don't know a 7-footer like Kevin Durant that can shoot and pass and have the handles that he does. He's a very special player.
Best moment from the All-Star game.
The Steph oop to Giannis.
That's what I was looking for. That was incredible.
Yes.
By the way, we made some, obviously, I said Joe Harris is going to be bad. He won the contest. You were looking at Kimball Walker to have
a big
that
was bad.
From his hometown. 4 points.
Yeah, that was terrible.
4 points.
I should have kept Bradley Beal.
Should have.
That was a bad trade for me.
We still got to figure out who won that game. So we're going to take a quick break, come back and talk about Cowboy baseball, Cowgirl softball, and what OSU wrestling was able to accomplish this weekend and what's ahead right after this.
One-on-One is brought to you by Oklahoma Air National Guard. Contact Oklahoma Air National Guard at 800-GO-TO-ANG or visit their website at goang.com/OK for more information about how to get 100% college tuition. And Unitarian Universalist Church. If you're looking for a church home, visit Unitarian Universalist Church of Stillwater, located at 320 South Stallard Street. They offer an alternative spiritual path and welcome all races, religions, and beliefs. They're also LGBTQ friendly. Services every Sunday at 10:30. We'll be right back.
Stillwater Medical Center now offers a convenient way to view your health information online. It's secure, easy, and free. Our hospital and clinic patient portals allow you to view results and reports, medications and allergies, track visit histories, view upcoming appointment information, and see your statements. To enroll, go to stillwatermedical.com and click on the patient portal link near the top right of the page. If you have questions, please feel free to call 405-533-6010.
Welcome into One-on-One on Sunlight Channel 112, Live Studio 318. Our last segment of the day, getting into more Oklahoma State athletics. This is a positive segment because Cowboys baseball, Cowgirl softball, and Cowboy wrestling all had successful weekends. We'll start with the wrestling team. They went up to Columbia to take on the 5th-ranked Tigers, who, by the way, Logan, had a 35 dual win streak and hadn't lost at home in 2 years. Cowboys ended those streaks. It was a difficult one because they were down. They needed their 4 seniors to get them wins. Jacoby Smith, Chandler Rogers, Preston Weigel, and Derek White do their job. It was 16-15, a 1-point lead for the Cowboys going into the final match of the day at heavyweight with Derek White. It was 1-1, actually 0-0 with about 28 seconds left. They both got a point going to sudden death. And I believe 28 seconds in, Derek White gets takedown to win 3-1. But this was a narrow victory for the Cowboys. They needed to win 4 of their last 5 to even win the duel.
Right.
They got number 3 Iowa, the biggest rivalry in collegiate wrestling. I mean, this is big-time rivalry.
Yeah.
The most successful program in collegiate athletics with the number 2 most successful program. I was there. They have the history as well. Gal-Greiben next Sunday. We'll get to that. But how big of a win was this for the Cowboys to wrestle their way to a victory over an undefeated Missouri team?
No, this was a spectacular victory. Like you said, that 35 dual streak included a victory over OSU last year. And like you said, they haven't lost at home in 2 years. This team, I like how they have Missouri and Iowa to end the season before they go to the Big 12 tournament and then nationals. I feel like boosting the level of competition right before you go into tournament play is really helpful for all these guys. And super impressed with the way Derek White handled his duel. Like you said, went into sudden death and got the pin pretty early on in sudden death. So it was a great performance all around from the Cowboys. I feel like they've stepped it up, as if you can step it up from what they've been doing this year, still undefeated on the season. So, I mean, it was a great duel. They did a great job bringing themselves back into it. Like you said, they had to win the last 4 out of the last 5 to end up pulling out the victory. So very impressive.
Well, Joe Smith, Wyatt Sheets, Caden G. Feller, and Cade Brock all fall up at Missouri. So, I mean, Cade was number 13, lost to number 4. Caden was number 5, lost to number 7. So that was a bit of an upset. He did lose 10-4. That really isn't good. Wyatt Sheets loses 6-5. He's unranked he lost to number 17. And then Joe Smith, number 6, lost to number 2. So, I mean, there was some of that they should have won and some are understandable. It's probably not anything understandable for Coach Smith, but you're turning to looking forward. Record attendance in the Hearn Center for Columbia, 4,000. That is about a third of what it should be in Gal-Greiben on Sunday.
Yeah.
This is big time because they haven't had a national title since 2006.
Yeah.
This program is built on national champions and national titles. As I mentioned, no national team title, and this will be 13 years. Didn't have a national champion last year. That is not the standard of Oklahoma State wrestling. You have a chance to finish the season undefeated against Iowa on Sunday. How big of a crowd do they need to have in Gal-Greiben? Because number 3 Iowa, also undefeated.
Right.
This is going to be difficult.
Yeah, and I think they'll get a big crowd. I think they need a big crowd, and I think a big crowd will show up because, let's be honest, this is the highlight of Oklahoma athletics this season. I know people love to talk about football and basketball, but those teams are underperforming and underperformed if you're talking about the football team this year. The wrestling is where it's at if you look at the standard for Oklahoma State, and there's a lot of older people go. Alumni tend to go to wrestling more so than students. but I know some students that like to go to wrestling duels, and they're fun. They're honestly fun to go to. If you have never been to a wrestling duel, go out on Sunday. It'll be a great atmosphere. It's fun to watch, even if you don't understand the rules of wrestling. It's a fun sport to watch. So I think they'll need a big crowd. I hope they'll get the big crowd they need. And you mentioned they didn't have a national champion last year. Do you think they have a chance for someone to win an individual title or even a team title this year?
Dayton Fix has.
That was what I was thinking.
Dayton Fix has a legitimate shot, and obviously Derek White and others like that. Derek White's number 2. And Jacoby Smith, I mean, there's guys that can win.
Yeah.
Nick Piccinini, I think, has a chance to win a title as well. But it's going to be difficult. I think they will get a national champion. I think they will have several All-Americans. I don't know if the team title is there.
Penn State's really good.
Penn State is very good. I don't know if I think Penn State or even Iowa probably claims that team title. It's going to be difficult. But they need a big, big crowd on Sunday. I mean, they need to fill it up like they did against
OU,
Penn State several years ago. But there is, I mean, Dayton Fix has a huge match coming up.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be interesting. I think that will be the match that everyone looks for. I can't remember the wrestler's name, and I had it pulled up here, but you know, I think that if you go into Galgriba and it gets rowdy, they're small weights. Obviously, where you start, there's potential to pull an upset here. And I guess it would be an upset for Iowa. They only beat Iowa State 19-18, and obviously that's a big rivalry there. So looking forward, we'll be talking about it all week. Maybe try and get Wade Haugen on to talk about this.
Are you talking about Spencer Lee from Iowa? Is that who you're?
Austin DeSanto is his name. Yeah, he has ruffled some feathers and upset some people.
I know who you're talking about
in
now.
the way he's wrestled.
That'll be Dayton Fix's opponent. On Sunday. I think you and I both hope Dayton gives him a taste of his own medicine.
Well, we certainly hope so. Well, Cowgirl softball and Cowboy baseball had successful weekends. We'll start with Cowboy baseball. They go to UT Rio Grande and take 2-1, claim their first series of the year. A good start for the Cowboys because I think, you know, the last couple of years, obviously they win the Big 12 tournament to get themselves into the NCAA tournament play 2 years ago.
Right.
Squeak in last year. They've got a couple guys that were on that team that went to Omaha 4 years ago that can hopefully kind of preach that motto of getting to the next level because they really haven't been able to done that. Honestly, they've underachieved the past couple of years.
Yeah.
A good start, not a great start. Obviously, they win game 1 10-3, lose game 2 2-5, and pull out a victory, obviously win the series in Game 3, 3-1. Mitchell Stone recorded his first win of his career, and Ben Leeper posted the first save of his career. So people are, they're getting there. But I don't want to overreact against, especially UT Rio Grande Valley. I mean, no disrespect to, I don't even know their mascot, no disrespect to UT Rio Grande Valley, but there's big opponents coming up. I mean, you have Wichita State at the beginning of March, a team that you struggled with. You have the Dodgertown Classic where you're going all over LA, USC, UCLA, and Michigan. And then before you get in to Big 12 play, you have Dallas Baptist. And then, of course, you have K-State, the TCUs, the Texas of the world, and especially Texas Tech, probably the best team in the Big 12.
Yeah.
And, oh, by the way, you have to go out and play the defending national champion, Oregon State, in Corvallis in May. So this is a tough stretch, a tough season for the Oklahoma State Cowboys.
Yeah.
But I think if they can pin themselves, use that senior leadership, they might be able, maybe, make it to Omaha. It is really, really hard to do to get to Omaha.
Yeah, no, like you said, they have guys that are on that roster from that World Series run they had a couple of years ago. A challenging schedule, and I think we'll know later on in the year what kind of team this is. But like you said, the past couple of years, they've seemed to have started slow, and then played maybe their best baseball at the end of the year, but then still fall short. And I think last year was actually the opposite. They started out super hot. They were playing great, and then they fell off at the end of the year. We'll have to see what this is. We'll have to see what this team is as we go forward. Like you said, a tough schedule. Playing Oregon State, the Big 12 is honestly a really good baseball conference. So we'll have to see. I'm hoping, like you though, they can make a run to Omaha and maybe win a couple of games there.
Well, we got just less than a minute here, but their key is winning games like every LSU team, winning games that they're supposed to win.
Right.
Cowgirls softball, they go down and lose their first 2 in the St. Pete Clearwater Elite Invitational, but they go 3-2 the weekend, get a Saturday sweep. They beat Utah, Cal, and Hofstra. Big 4th innings on Saturday, but good start to Cowgirl softball and baseball, and obviously the wrestling team as well. We are going to take a 47-hour break. Be back on Wednesday. Talk about all the things going on in Sports 10. Thanks for watching 101. We'll see you Wednesday.
Determining your future by selecting a major can be difficult.
It's okay to be undecided.
Connect with the College of Arts and Sciences, where your options are endless.
Where you can uncover your passions and achieve your goals.
Express your creativity by exploring a career in the visual and performing arts.
Investigate new discoveries to make the world a better place with a career in science.
Advance knowledge, communicate progress, and contribute to a healthier planet with a career rooted in the social sciences.
Discover your career by looking at the world from different perspectives through the humanities.
Realize a better tomorrow through problem solving and mining data that can change lives.
CAS prepares you to succeed through internships, study abroad, student-guided research projects, and service activities.
With 109 majors, 52 minors, and 24 departments, the only thing missing is you. College of Arts and Sciences.
Connect.
Achieve. Succeed.
When you have a team of physicians and nurses that really truly care about their patients, that translates into patient care.
It's a small practice, it's a small town. Everybody really takes that time to put the patient first.
Everybody cares what's happening to me and that I'm making progress and I'm gaining my freedom back and my mobility back. This patient is saying thank you.
This spring, I invite you to shop in downtown Stillwater. Downtown Stillwater is home to locally owned shops, boutiques, eateries, and dependable professionals that you can trust. Find the perfect gift for your graduate, have a delicious meal with mom, or just stop in to enjoy great spring savings. By creating a demand for local goods and services, you can ensure a place for the local businesses that help give our community character and keep it unique. On behalf of Downtown Stillwater, thank you for shopping local.